Maps are more than just navigational tools, they're windows into how we perceive our world. But what if the map we're using is fundamentally flawed? Today I'm diving into the wrong map, and revealing how Africa, a continent of immense wealth and vibrant history, has been grossly misrepresented by global cartography. Historically, European explorers and colonial powers created maps that not only charted territories, but also served to establish dominance. The well-known Mercator projection, for instance, distorts the size of land masses, making regions near the poles appear much larger than those near the equator. Africa, situated near the equator, is drastically shrunk, obscuring its true size and significance. Look at this side-by-side comparison. On the left, the Mercator projection, widely used around the world, renders Africa as a mere fraction of its real scale. On the right, alternative maps like the Gall-Peters projection reveal Africa's true expanse, a continent far more immense and diverse than we're led to believe. This visual misrepresentation is not just an aesthetic issue, it has profound implications. Africa's missized portrayal feeds into a global narrative that undervalues the continent's resources, culture, and potential. Economically, this bias contributes to policies that neglect African development and reinforces a dependency on external forces. Culturally, it diminishes the pride and historical significance of a continent that is the true cradle of humankind. Scholars, historians, and cartographers agree. The way we see Africa on maps has shaped international perceptions and policies. From trade imbalances to political exploitation, these distortions have real-world consequences, contributing to a legacy of underinvestment and neo-colonial dependency. But there is hope. Across the continent, initiatives are underway to create maps that reflect Africa's true dimensions and rich diversity. These new maps challenge the old narratives, providing a more accurate foundation for economic development and cultural pride. When Africans see themselves in the proper scale, it empowers local communities, influences better policy decisions, and fosters a renewed sense of unity and self-reliance. Imagine a world where Africa is seen in its true light, a continent that stands tall, united, and respected. A reimagined map isn't just about correcting proportions, it's about rewriting the narrative of global power dynamics. It calls for equitable policies that recognize Africa's potential and re-establish the continent's rightful place on the world stage. The wrong map has misled us for too long. It's time to challenge the status quo and embrace a vision of the world that accurately reflects Africa's vastness and beauty. Our journey begins with history. The colonial maps drawn during the age of imperialism were never meant to serve the people of Africa. They were instruments of control. By shrinking Africa's true size, these maps conveyed a sense of insignificance. This misrepresentation wasn't just an error of perspective, it was a deliberate tactic to justify exploitation. Today, these outdated images still echo in the corridors of international policy. They influence how global institutions allocate resources, negotiate trade deals, and even decide where to invest. The consequences are far-reaching. Consider the economic fallout. When African nations are depicted as small and fragmented, global trade policies and investment strategies are designed with a diminished view of our potential. Our abundant natural resources, from oil and minerals to fertile lands, are extracted at minimal cost and transformed into finished products abroad, only to be sold back at premium prices. This perpetuates a cycle of dependency and underdevelopment. Economic decisions made by powerful nations often disregard the true scale of our markets, limiting our ability to negotiate fair terms. This is one of the hidden costs of an inaccurate map. Maps shape our cultural psyche too. The constant portrayal of Africa as a small and underdeveloped region feeds into global stereotypes, reinforcing notions of inferiority. This not only affects how outsiders view Africa, but also how Africans see themselves. Our rich history, marked by powerful civilizations like the Mali Empire and the ancient Nile Valley, is often overshadowed by these distorted images. Reclaiming the correct scale and grandeur of our continent is essential for restoring pride and fostering self-determination among our people. Thankfully, the future is not bound by old conventions. Advances in digital cartography and community-based mapping projects are revolutionizing the way Africa is represented. Innovative initiatives such as the development of locally produced maps using satellite imagery are challenging the Eurocentric status quo. These new maps reveal the true expanse of our continent and highlight regions of potential that were once hidden. By embracing modern technology, we can rewrite the narrative and empower our people with accurate information that drives better policy decisions. Beyond cartography, this battle for accurate representation is linked to a larger struggle for sovereignty. Just as our maps have been distorted, so too have our national currencies and political structures been undervalued. A more accurate map of Africa can serve as a metaphor and a tool for economic and political empowerment. When Africans see our continent in its true size, we begin to appreciate our potential to unite our markets, stabilize our currencies, and build robust, self-reliant economies. The reimagined map is not merely a correction of scale, it's a call for a unified African future, where borders become bridges for trade and collaboration, not barriers to progress. Imagine a continent where African nations trade freely using their own currencies, a continent that stands united in economic, cultural, and political strength. A reimagined Africa, drawn accurately on our maps, would empower us to negotiate on our own terms, to invest in our future, and to reclaim the narrative of our rich heritage. It is time to challenge the old maps and the outdated systems that continue to hold us back. Join us in this movement to redraw not just the maps, but the destiny of our continent. Let us honor our past by accurately representing our true scale and potential. With every reimagined map and every policy that values our heritage, we move one step closer to a future defined by African strength and self-reliance. If you believe in the power of truth and unity, like, share, and subscribe. Together, we can change the way the world sees Africa, and the way Africa sees itself.